Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Inside Cape Cod. I'm Mina Greene. I'm very excited about this morning's guest. She is part of a wonderful movement. I can't think of any better way to spend this Sunday morning than to talk about it. I have with me Kim Meade Walters, and you are the co-founder and executive director of For Sharing Kindness.
Sharing kindness.
I love it. As soon as this came across my desk, I'm like, I must speak with you. I think it's a great idea. Now, this is a day that you're establishing. So it is May 16th?
May 16th is our annual Suicide Awareness Walk. It's here in Hyannis. Some people might feel that a suicide awareness walk could be a somber event, and we have our moments, but it's just a beautiful morning of community building, and we want to invite your listeners to join us.
And you know what? It's important because, as you said, if you have been touched by this, it's important to share. It's important to talk about it. It's important to talk about the person and just
say their name.
Yes,
absolutely.
And keep them alive.
Yes.
This is what it's all about. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
But I love this idea. I can't believe I haven't heard of it before. When is the walk?
The walk is Saturday, May 16th at Veterans Park Beach here in Hyannis.
Perfect. Couldn't be at a better place. We have so many wonderful veterans living here on Cape, and we have wonderful facilities to help them because this is not easy. To go away to war and to come home. And, everyone wants you to be the same as you when you left, but you can't always.
Right.
You can't.
It's true for veterans. It's true for our youth. Nothing's easy now. And for those, we call them social health disparities. There are groups that are at increased risk of suicide, and those include our veterans.
Yes.
Our youth, people of color, tribal members. Nobody is immune.
No.
Nobody is immune from the
people.
health crisis of suicide.
And young people also,
Young people. And so I would love to share with your listeners about Hope Squad.
Please.
So Hope Squad is evidence-based. That means the research has been done and we know that it works. Evidence-based suicide prevention. It's a peer-to-peer program. So students create a squad within a school and do intentional outreach to other students. So this is student-driven. It's advisor overseen. So we have trained advisors within the school, but student-driven to decrease suicide risk. And not only is suicide risk decreased, but the studies show, the evidence shows there's increase in help-seeking behavior. So struggling students reach out sooner. There's a decrease in stigmatizing language. So any student, if you happen to identify as an LGBTQ student in a school, if there's less stigmatizing language, then school's a safer place for you. So it builds and changes school culture. And we're so proud of our Hope Squads and our Hope Squad students.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember when I was, that's going way, many decades back.
Me too.
There were a lot of people in my high school. I was born in that town, so I was fine. But when new people came in, the other students from the schools were horrible to them. The new kids, they're picking on them all the time. And I ended up defending most of them.
Right. So you could have used a Hope Squad because in a Hope Squad school, there's less bullying.
Right.
So it's just a win-win-win. And we currently support Hope Squad in 14 schools across the Cape and also on Martha's Vineyard. And we will likely grow by 4 schools this summer. So we should start the new school year with 18 Hope Squads.
Amazing.
Isn't
I cannot
that great?
believe that you're going to have 18 altogether by the time school starts next September.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Now, was this your brainchild?
This is not. Hope Squad began over 20 years ago. It was actually founded by an educator out in the Mountain West, where suicide rates are even higher. And in conjunction with 3 universities, that data strong, right? Because to go into a school, we need to say this is a program that's been vetted, that is evidence-based. And we at Sharing Kindness collaborate with the schools. We pay 100% for the training. And there's a curriculum fee each year, and we split that with the school 50%. So we really want to make it accessible to everybody.
To as many people as you possibly can.
And so we have public schools, we have private schools, we have charter schools. We just want to support students in the Cape and Islands.
Yep.
And we want to raise a generation of suicide-aware individuals that can take those tools that they've learned being on Hope Squad with them as we go forward. Because our suicide rates across the age span, whether you're a teen or an 85-year-old, on Cape Cod, you're at increased risk versus age-matched people over the bridge.
And actually, by learning all about this, you are able to better handle it if somebody that you love or a friend or you get an inkling that they're thinking about it, you have the tools and you can go and you can try to help. Or
Correct.
you can alert the right people to help.
That's it. You can be that bridge, that connecting to the services that are
Right.
needed.
'Cause
That's how it works.
Because people are contemplating it. They're not thinking straight. They're
Thank
in
you for
pain.
saying that.
It's not a good time to make a decision like that.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's never a good time to make a
Right.
decision like that.
I would even argue that it's not a decision in the sense of a choice. So what you said was just right. People are in pain. What we know about our youth, suicide is the second leading cause of death for people between the ages of 10 and 24 here in our community, in our state, and across our country. It's the second leading cause of death. And what we know from studies is that the vast majority of young people we lose to suicide don't want to die.
Right.
They need their pain to end. And that makes it less of a decision/choice and more
Right.
of a
They feel like a need.
yeah,
Almost.
how can we back that bus up? How it is incumbent, I think, upon the rest of us to address what are those deep causes of pain. I will share that in Hope Squad schools, because of the training the students get and how they interact or do intentional outreach to their peers, the first year of a Hope Squad, there are more kids picked up and potentially more calls to Bay Cove, which is our local crisis unit. Starting the second year, the calls drop. And the reason for that is that signs are being seen, kids are being picked up, and connections are being made earlier. And I believe I mentioned earlier, there's increased help-seeking behavior. So sometimes students are reaching out, generally to other students, right? When students have a suicidal ideation and they disclose, 7 times out of 10, it's to a peer.
Right.
But then that peer can be the bridge to support or bridge to services. So that, I believe, is how we make an impact on our elevated numbers here.
And I think you're doing an amazing job already.
Thank you.
I'm very touched by this, and I'm very happy to know that we have something like this because a lot of people have been taking their lives, and it doesn't need to be.
Right.
At the time, the person thinks that it is. They just can't do it anymore.
Again, the pain, what they tell us is that
It's excruciating.
it's excruciating. And for any of us that have experienced, even for a moment or two, excruciating pain, you're not thinking clearly.
No.
And the other issue for our young people to consider is that executive function, right? Frontal lobe development. It's not complete until at least the age of 25. There's some thought now that it may be a little bit after that.
Right.
And so when we're talking about a 16-year-old, they literally can't think like us. They can't.
They can't grasp it.
Right.
They just can't.
So what systems can we put in place to help keep people, including our youth, healthier during these challenging times? I mean, there is a youth mental health crisis. It was declared in 2021. So what can we put in place to assist our young people and help keep them healthy?
And it's hard to make people understand that no one has to be alone. Nobody has to be alone. And there are funds raised that provide free clinician-led grief support and mental health education right here on the Cape and the islands.
Correct.
And
We're doing all of that.
Yeah, we need to. And it stays local, which is very important.
Right. There are some national walks that come towards the Cape, sometimes on the Cape. And, that's great. We're all raising awareness. But what we want your listeners and our general community to know is that all the funds raised by our Sharing Kindness Suicide Awareness Walk stay here 100%
Local.
for our community.
Mm-hmm. And now people can register for this walk, which is coming up next Saturday.
Saturday the 16th, right?
Mm-hmm. So how do they do that?
They can go to our website. It's www.sharingkindness.org. And sign up. We would love to have them walk with us. We would welcome volunteers. We would welcome business sponsors, posting flyers, anything that they can do to help us support our community would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. And where does it start?
It starts at Veterans Park Beach in Hyannis. The registration, some people can register online ahead of time. That's great. You can register same day if you'd prefer at 8:30. We have many resource tables. Our Hope Squad students from across the Cape will be there doing community building activities, similar to the ones they do in their schools. We have a 9 a.m. It's effectively yoga on the beach. We don't want to scare people at Sharing Kindness, so we call it gentle movement. But it's yoga on the beach because we can all benefit from some deep breathing and gentle movement. So, and like our grief support groups, there's no charge for the yoga. We just want to make our services available to the community.
Right.
It is $10 to register to walk, and that all goes to support.
That is nothing compared to, I mean, that is just I'm happy you get something, but that is just amazing. I was a teacher at Cape Cod Community College for about 15 years. And so, you worry about things like that all the time. You worry about the suicide rate. And even More so in elementary school, you know, a lot of kids, if they're being picked on and they don't want to say anything to anybody, and this is where it can start. And then it can snowball.
Right.
And also, too, we should tell these people that there are places to reach out to. There
Absolutely.
are people that want to help you, and they want to listen to you, and they want to see what they can do to help you. And you are one of those people.
Correct.
And your organization.
Yep.
So
Thank you for that.
it's just because I'm thinking back just when I can actually think back that far, but but we had one or two kids in school and I actually spent a couple of hours with one of them one day, and I was just talking and talking and talking, and by the time we finished talking, they weren't talking about it anymore.
So you bring up a good and valid point in that studies show if we can help people through that painful period, they can be hopeful again for their future. And so that's a really wonderful approach to take, is to companion people and to hear them, to be present with them.
And no judgment.
There's
judgment. No judgment at all. Can't help the way you feel. You feel the way you feel.
Correct.
But you don't have to live with it.
If you share it.
You can share it. You can get help. There are organizations like yours, which I just love, the sharing kindness. I just love that.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of very good therapists, and there's a lot of good things that we have now that we did not have 30 years ago.
Correct.
And this is such a beautiful little Cape. And we want to keep everybody safe and happy.
We do.
Because this is a great place to live.
Exactly. And you know, our rates are elevated here. It's not just here. For our youth, for that age, 10 to 24-year-old age group, suicide rates have risen 62% in the last 2 decades. And it's complex. It's not just one thing. A lot of people bring up social media, certainly a culprit or a contributor.
Oh, I'd say pretty.
But it's not just one thing. It's complex.
It is.
So that's what requires us as a community to come together and address the multiple
needs.
Determinants. Right.
Now, in your organization now that you're very good at helping people, do they stay on with you at all, or do they try to go out into the community and try to share the message?
So yes, to both. We have our Hope Squad members, right?
I love
I know, isn't it? And our Hope Squad members, one of the young people speaking at the walk is a former high school Hope Squad member who's now in college, and he's talking about what the tools he learned in school are doing for him in college, right? So he's staying on. We, in our peer grief support groups, and I want to add that each of those is led by a clinician, so a licensed social worker or a licensed mental health counselor. We have nearly 40 of those groups this year out in the community on both islands, at schools, and those folks can stay in their group for as long as they need to. Sometimes, particularly with young people, they'll leave and then often come back because for young people who perhaps have experienced the death of a parent or a sibling, as they change developmentally, as they age, they experience that loss differently. And so it can be helpful to come back to groups. So there's no time limit for our support for grieving folks. When that loss occurred, they're welcome in group anytime.
Again, going back however many decades it is, but I mean, when I was in high school and junior high, this was not spoken of, which is terrible. So I used to find friends, and they'd start telling me some things, and I would be like, wait a minute, we need to, let's go see Mrs. Geiger, because she's going to help us out. Yeah. She's going to help you sort this out. Because it's terrifying time when you're younger. Things go badly, or somebody snubs you or hurts you emotionally, or you don't really think when you're young.
You are right. I want to share that our tagline is start the conversation, because people historically have not talked about it. I think in large part because of stigma.
Of course.
And so we want to help educate people. We want to help them learn the best practice language to use. It's simple. We can all learn it and start the conversation. We had an amazing speaker in March here. She came, we do a Hope Squad summit over at the community college each March when they're on break. And more than 300 of our Hope Squad student members came, more than 50 of the Hope Squad advisors came, and Emma Benoit came to speak. She survived a serious suicide attempt as a 16-year-old. She's about 8 years past that now. And Emma's tagline is silence will never keep you safe. It's we're complementary taglines, I will say. And that is because historically we didn't talk about it. And guess what? That didn't work. No. So what can we do now?
Exactly. And I think schools are a good place to have these things too, especially here, because a lot of times in the olden days, that's where the problem started. And they would go home and they would be afraid to tell their parents, or they were afraid to tell anybody they're being bullied or whatever. And No, speak out. If something's not right, even if it's not happening to you, if you see somebody who's hurting, needs to have somebody to talk to,
Yeah.
a professional or anyone, and they don't want to go to their parents because they're worried, go to your school counselor.
You can go to a Hope Squad member, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes peers are easier first.
You do an amazing job. Time is flying, but let's get back to you. So many good things. I want to have you come back again, but let's talk about your walk right now because we want to make sure we get some people there.
Oh, we would welcome anyone in the community. www.sharingkindness.org. Please look at our programming, sign up for the walk. If you're not certain that you can come ahead of time, you're welcome to come at 8:30 the morning of the walk. Talk to the people at our resource tables, diverse and wonderful community organizations here on Cape. If you are a suicide loss survivor, and that can be a family member, it can be a friend, we have a memory wall. Please feel free to bring a photo. We use magnets. We're not going to harm the photo at all. You can put your photo up, or you can write a message to your person on our memory wall and walk with us. It is a 5K, so that's roughly a 3-mile walk through Hyannis on the sidewalks. And it is a remarkable morning of community building for all of us.
And it's happening next Saturday, May 16th, Veterans Park Beach in Hyannis for the Suicide Awareness Walk. And people should start gathering around the 8 o'clock hour, or 8:30.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Kim, for coming
It's my
in this
pleasure.
morning.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I definitely want to have you come back again.
I'm pleased to do that.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Inside Cape Cod, heard every Sunday morning at this time on all 4 of our Coxswain Media stations. Until next time, I'm Mina Greene.